Hey, y'all, what's up? Just chiming in the Blue Boy algorithm. I pretty much been watching everybody's take on Blue Boy's latest incident, and I just came to the realization that everybody pretty much points out the same thing as far as Blue Boy's age. Is he too old to be doing this? Is he too old to hold his own? Is he too old to go against the youngins? You know, that's the question that everybody keeps putting out there. And yesterday I put out a video about the situation, and I did mention that ageism was a thing. You know, people think that when people start getting old, they start getting gray, they start getting bellies, and their hair starts falling out, that those things are signs of weakness. And in some cases, it's true, but I don't think it's true in Blue's case. I'm gonna start with this scientist called Pavlov, because that is very important in pointing out what's conditioned and what's unconditional. So now we have the scientist that conducted experiments on his own dog based on how people's reaction would do if they heard certain things, certain noises, and in his case, he used a bell to make his dog salivate as he associated with feeding time. In other words, he would ring the bell when he would feed the dog and notice that they would salivate. So those things were unconditional things that would happen, but he made it conditional as part of the bell being the trigger to its unconditionalness. So if you guys are following what I'm going through here, is that we have a man that's been doing time 39 plus years that's been conditioned unconditionally to react to certain things, certain situations, and certain events and certain vibes. Anybody who's ever been in that situation where you're being locked up, whether it's 1 year, 3 years, 7 years, 10 years, know that the instant you start doing this time, a hardwired process starts happening in your mind. It starts immediately. It may not go to the depth that a lifer might be doing, but you start programming yourself to think a certain way. The older you get, the bigger that relay gets. It stays with you. You take it with you. You drag it with you everywhere you go. To the movie theater, to the restaurant. Anywhere you go. That's why you hear certain things in the news about somebody popping off at a restaurant or at the Waffle House. Things of that nature in odd places, because people are hardwired to bring it to wherever they're at. So the older you get, the bigger that relay is, and the more that stuff is gonna drag with you. How many times have you caught yourself looking everywhere, canvassing the area when you leave your apartment, looking out your window before you even come out your building? I mean, things like that, like you just drag everywhere. How many times have you sat facing the door at a restaurant? You think that happens because you're a man? No, you've been hardwired. You've been conditioned to think that way and be that way all the time, 24/7. So what I'm getting at is that your process is getting old only makes you an engineer in those kind of tactics. Yes, there comes a time in your old age where you seem kind of uninteresting, boring, out of touch, outdated, etc. And it might be true for the most part. I mean, how many of you guys with your podcast really, over the age of 30, really have somebody by the age of 18, 19 following you guys on your YouTube channels? None. I bet you if you look in the stats, you got somebody more or less in your age range in there. And that's not designed by YouTube. That's designed by your algorithm. The people who follow you, the people who like your content is who you attract. And nobody 18, 19-year-old is going to sit here and follow a 40-year-old. This rule of thumb doesn't apply just to Blue Boy. This is everybody who's aging, who's had that hard life, who's been through the system, pretty much their entire lives. One page went as far out to say that there's no way in hell that Blue Boy can be in there strapped 24/7, 7 days a week. And what I would have to add to that is that it is possible that somebody who spent 40 years of their lives creating havoc on the inside know exactly the nooks, the crannies, and the little loopholes to bypass in order to make shit happen. And I just say that respectfully because that's what you're conditioned to do. Find the loopholes. Look through the cracks. You will find places to slide through if you just keep an eye open and know what to look for. And when you spend a rational part of your life doing that, that thing happens automatically and you will find a way.